Hey everyone, I'm going to finally take a look at the Italy pack. It's taken me a while, but there's not much on the game to review today. There's no new player of the week, so I'm going to review it now finally. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description for each player, so if you want to hear about particular players, click on the description and there'll be a link to take you straight to them. So let's jump in. We'll start with the manager. We've got Spalletti, and Spalletti is, of course, 89 rated in one of his proficiencies. That's long ball counter, so you basically got a long ball counter manager. You can use him for possession. You won't get a particularly great boost though. So essentially, you're just looking at an 89 rated long ball counter manager. For farming, you get 200% on 5-star players, and then for your booster, you get +1 defense, awareness, and stamina. So yeah, you got a long ball counter manager. It's a fairly popular playing style. I imagine that'll be quite appealing to a lot of people, but we'll have to look at these players in the pack as well, see how good the pack is. So let's do what we've been doing recently. We'll start with the goalie and work our way up the pitch. So we're going to start with Donnarumma. So Donnarumma's got a face scan, of course. Attacking goalkeeper. He's massive. He's about 6'5", 6'6". Not many attacking keepers is that kind of a height. I know the Trubin in the new national pack, European national pack, whatever you call it, is a similar one. But yeah, got an attacking keeper, standard form. Low punt, long throw, penalty saver, captaincy. Got some good skills. One thing with this card, you can't use many league changes because you don't get a French league change, so that's a bit of a downside. But he does get a live update at least from the French league. But yeah, let's jump over to eFootball Hub. Let's see how good this Donnarumma card is. So it's pretty good. So on auto allocation, looking pretty strong there. We can of course nick those points off aerial and one off passing as well. Don't need that there. Not going to need all those 5 points, but I'm going to go straight to. You can basically increase one of these by 1. It's awareness or reach, but I think awareness is more important. He's massive. He's got a pretty decent arm coverage, so I'm going to go on awareness, get it to 92, and then those last two, just 2 drive 8 for jumps. So I think that's an easy one. Go back onto aerial there. So yeah, it's a good goalkeeper card. This we've had a bunch of versions of Donnarumma, obviously, over the last few years. We've had a few player of the week cards without any boosters. They're all fairly similar to this one, kind of stats shuffled around a bit. One of them does have a booster though. The booster one does get better than this, but the other two pretty similar. In terms of trainable cards, highlights, he's had a Showtime cards. Obviously they're better than this one. But apart from that though, regular highlight cards, this one's about as good as we've had. We've had a few with the stats kind of shuffled around a little bit. But yeah, if you've not got a good highlight card of Donnarumma, this is a good card. From his GB card, they've actually gone +8 on goalkeeper awareness at level 1. So he's had a big boost on his goalkeeper awareness. It's not always that high on any Donnarumma card, so that's very good. Interestingly, I've taken 2 points away from his jumping and his physical contact. Don't think that'll make a massive difference. He's already very tall, and jumping, as we know from Player of the Week, is not the most important goalie attribute. But yeah, slightly strange of taking 2 off each of those. But that boost on a goalkeeper awareness really is a difference maker. This is a good version of Donnarumma. Obviously, the catching and praying aren't brilliant, but with his size and good arm coverage, the awareness, the reflex, and the reach over 90, he's going to get behind a lot of shots. It's a good goalie card, this. Like I say, there is a booster player of the week card that you might have on the Showtime card as well, which are both better than this. But outside of those, this is a good version of Donnarumma. He's got most of the skills you probably want in the keeper. You might want high punt, I guess. But you've got low punt and long throws. Distribution is not too bad for a keeper. And yeah, catching and prowling could be better, but the most important goalie attributes are looking very strong. He's got really good coverage of his goal. And this is a very good Donnarumma card on the whole. And into the defence, we've got a couple of centre-backs. We'll start with Buongiorno. And the first thing to note with this guy is, I don't know when it happened, but he has shrunk. Sometime quite recently, he changed from 194 centimetres to 190 centimetres. So most of the previous versions of Buongiorno are 4 centimetres taller. So that's something to maybe keep in mind if you've got a previous version of him. He's a destroyer, normally an extra frontman. So they've changed his playing style for this card. Normally an extra frontman. They've made him a destroyer. He's got a face scan, of course. Unwoven form. He has been doing well for Napoli when he's played, but he's struggled a lot with injuries. Hopefully that's going to be behind him next season. But yeah, unwavering form. We've got a tall, left-footed destroyer centre-back. Lost a bit of height, but he's also gained a couple of skills though. They've given him blocker and sliding tackle on this card. Looks like those 2 skills are new, so that's good. Man marking, search and blocker, sliding acrobatic. All he really needs is aerial superiority. I would give him fighting spirit as well. Defensively, that's all he needs. So aerial and fighting spirit, I think would be worth giving him. And then with the other 3 slots, I would say probably some passing skills, maybe outside curler, just something to make him a little bit more comfortable on the ball. But a couple of nice additions to his skills though. But let's jump over to eFootball Hub and train him up. Let's see how good his Buongiorno card is. It's pretty decent looking defensively. You see down the middle there, those core defensives are very, very strong. On the right, not the quickest, but he's not the slowest either. Got pretty good physical strength, not the best jump on him. That makes aerial superiority even more important, especially since he's shrunk by 4 centimeters. Stamina's decent enough. Yeah, looking like a solid centre-back on the whole. You had a player of the week version of him at some point. Stats were shopped around. It was quite a while ago, I think, that card. This one's a bit better, especially with his core defensive attributes. We've had a few build-up highlight cards of his go to a similar level. I've also had one destroyer highlight card that was slightly better, mainly because it had a bit more on jumping and physical contact. And it was also 4 centimeters taller than this one, albeit it didn't have the 2 extra skills that this one's got. So some pros and cons there. And yeah, from his GP card, the way they boosted him, it's a pretty mixed boost. Mainly, they boosted his pace a bit, his defensive awareness and defensive engagement. They've not put anything on his tackling or his physical contact, but I don't think they needed to, really. He's looking pretty strong on the whole. The only one concern I'd have is that jumping of 80, even though he's not short, what's his vertical reach? Yeah, so his vertical reach there, jumping height, whatever you want to call it, 271.9 centimeters is not brilliant. It's not terrible, but it's not brilliant. You know, the real beefy kind of cross-bound types of striker, your Collars and Lorenzo Lucas and the rest, they're often around sort of 280 roughly in vertical reach. So could do with a bit more on him. Aerial superiority will help him to win some of those aerial duels, but can we get a bit more jumping on him? I think we can. That's if you are concerned about the jump. If you're not, obviously you could just leave him here, and those core defenses are brilliant. He'll be great at defending, but as you can see, defending is up to 15. Those last 3 increases there cost 4 points each, so just 3 off defending. We've got 12 points to play with. Thank you very much. You could just go 4 straight up to aerial there. You get a load more physical contact on him and jumping up to 84, up into the mid-70s jumping height. Personally, I'd be tempted to take... In fact, I'm just going to take 1 off there, and then I'm going to take 1 off dexterity, and that means we've got 4 to play with, and you can go 4 goalkeeper 1. That gets us up to 88 jumping. I think that might be the way to do it. So that is, there you see, we get up to 277.1 centimeters. So pretty strong there in the air. You give him aerial superiority, I think then you're going to be absolutely fine. You're still really strong down the middle there. And then, yeah, we've lost 1 off dexterity, but you're not really going to notice that. But physical up to 93, jumping up to 88. For me personally, that's a better way to train this guy. Give him aerial superiority though. I would recommend fighting spirit, and then you could maybe give him 1 or 2 passing skills as well. And yeah, you'd have a pretty strong centre back. You can play him as a left back. Are you going to train him to play left back? You just need to increase his proficiency by 1. He can play left midfield apparently as well. Let's just go to auto allocation for left midfield, see how horrendous it looks. Yeah, pretty horrendous. Left back, I don't think so. Defensively strong physically, but he's not really got the pace. He's horrific technically. I don't see many people wanting to train this guy as a left back. I think you're definitely going to go with him as a centre back. So you can go auto allocation like that, or you could do what I did. You can beef him up aerially. I think that's well worth doing. Make him better in the air, especially if you can aerial superiority, and he shouldn't have any problems in the air. And yeah, on the whole, left-footed destroyer centre-back, pretty strong one, unwavering form. Good handy option for the Italian League Challenge. I think it's a good, strong card on the whole. And our other centre-back is Riccardo Calafiori from Arsenal. So, got a face scan, and also, much like Buongiorno, normally an extra front man, and he's had his playing style changed. So whereas Buongiorno has been changed to a destroyer, Calafiori has been changed to a build-up for this card. So we've got a left-footed build-up centre-back, again with unwavering form. And in skill-wise, they have again made a couple of changes. So they've added, it looks like they've added man-marking and blocker. Interesting. And they've taken away a couple of skills to make room for them. They've taken away, I think, Marseille turn and dipping shot. I think we can live without those on a centre-back. So to swap those 2 for man-marking blocker, that's excellent news for me. So man-marking, search and blocker, aerial sliding tackle. Could do with acrobatic clearance. Again, could do with fighting spirit. But apart from that, pretty well equipped. Long-range shooting, weighted pass, pinpoint crossing, low lofted pass going forward. So you got a few bonuses there. But defensively, yeah, I would just look to give him acrobatic clearance and fighting spirit, I think, just to finish off the skills defensively. But let's train him up on eFootball Hub. Let's see how good this Calafiori card is. It's, again, pretty solid. Another solid-looking centre-back card. Very strong down the middle again there. Physical contact, borderline for me. Decent jumping on him. Decent pace. Bounce at 70 is not amazing, but for a centre-back, that's decent. Stamina as well, also decent. And down the left-hand side there, he's looking pretty nice on the ball for a centre-back. So, yeah, Another good centre-back card. This looking pretty nice. We've had a few versions of Calafiori. It's quite a mixed bag. We've had a couple of Player of the Week cards. One was a left-back. Better as a left-back than this card. As a centre-back, not quite as good as this one. We had an older Player of the Week card when it was a Bologna. That was a build-up centre-back, much like this one, but it wasn't as good. Showtime version of him is also a build-up centre-back. That's the best version we've had of Calafiori, but not by much, to be fair. Not a million miles away from this one, really. And also an interesting one, whereas Buongiorno has shrunk by 4 centimeters, Calafiori has actually grown 2 centimeters since his Showtime card. So this card is actually 2 centimeters taller than his Showtime card. So there's something to keep in mind, maybe. In terms of other highlight cards, trainable ones, we had a left back one, defensive forward playing style. That one wasn't as good as centre back. Similar as a left back to this one, though, just kind of shuffled around. We'll look at him as a left back in a minute. And also I've had a couple of highlight cards in kind of legend boxes. A very similar one, one of those ones with the kind of dark green football background. Very similar to this one. And then the one from the recent Arsenal pack as well, which wasn't quite as good as this one. So yeah, a real mixed bag in terms of previous versions of Calafiori. What they've done from his GP cards, a pretty even boost across the board, really. Mostly up by 2 or 3. Got 5 on kicking power, got 4 on aggression, only 1 on defensive engagement, but we don't really need more than that, do we? It's up at 95 there. It's one of these cards where if you look at his GP card and auto allocation, they've put more points on his defending, so it actually looks like he's got better engagement. That's just because of the way they allocate the points on his GP cards. It's a strange way they do that. So yeah, don't be fooled by thinking that his GP card's better at defending in any way. It's just the point allocation. And yeah, obviously there are a couple of points thrown in, a couple of new skills thrown in. So it's looking like a pretty nice version of Calafiori. This, if you like the build-up playing style as well, it could be a very interesting version for you. And in terms of the way the points are allocated, again, often happens, but they've gone up to 13. That one last increase in defending has cost us 4 points. Do you need that one last increase? I don't think so. I personally would be inclined to, I mean, he doesn't really need anything anywhere else, but it'd be nice to get that physical up a little bit. If you go one more on physical, we've got 1 point left, and we're just shy of 90. He could nick a couple off dexterity, to be honest, and get the aerial up to 90. Get more on his jumping as well. Jumping height 279 is good. He's got aerial superiority. I'd be inclined to do that. Looking like a very nice left-footed build-up centre-back. But for a centre-back, he's pretty comfortable on the ball there. His technicals are nice in the 70s, all of those. His heading's not amazing, actually. He's got the heading skills, so it won't be terrible. But yeah, I'd like the heading to be a bit higher. But the defence is down the middle there, strong. Very decent pace for a centre-back, jumping up to 93, physical up to 90. It's a strong centre-back card, this. It's a good version of Calafiori. Like I say, if you're comparing to previous versions, it's a real mixed bag. That Showtime one obviously is the best, but like I say, it's not a million miles better than this one, and this one is 2 centimeters taller. So yeah, there's a good strong version of Calafiori. You do have left back and left midfield. Let's just look at him as a left back first. So as a left back, it's a mixed bag. The speed's kind of borderline. Acceleration is a bit low. You often find that when you turn a centre back into a left back or a right back. He's got a good physical strength for a fullback. Balance is a bit iffy though, as you'd expect. Stamina good enough. Defensives are strong. Down the left there, you're all right, to be honest. I think those are okay for a left back. So yeah, just the acceleration, I'd be tempted to maybe nick some off, maybe defending even. Try and get his acceleration up, if that acceleration's a concern for you. Maybes, you could do that. It would also be nice if you could get that speed up by 1, because you get the increase from 86 straight to 88, you get a +2 there. I mean, to be honest, if you're going to use him as a defensive fullback, you could easily do that. Get up to 89. Oh, now you're 1 shy of 90, but then you need 4 points to do that. So yeah, we'll forget that. We'll leave it at 80. We'll leave it at 88, 89. So yeah, as a left back, certainly a defensive left back, could be a usable one. I don't think it looks amazing. I'm not sure too many people want to do that, but he's already pretty proficient there. He's certainly got some good defensive skills, so it could be an option for you. And then left midfield, I'm not too confident about this one. I mean, he could be worse. He's not too bad technically, to be fair. On the ball with his passing there, he's got pinpoint crossing. Attacking when it's not brilliant. Yeah, he could do a job for you, left mid. He's not going to be amazing. He could do a job for you there, but is anyone going to get this Calafiori card and use him as a left winger? No, I don't think they are. So I'll just leave him on auto allocation there. Like I say, I do think it's worth shuffling a few points and getting that physical contact and jumping up a little bit. But he's pretty well equipped with skills. If you're going to put skills on him, acrobatic clearance and fighting spirit, the first two I'd put on him, and then he'd be very well equipped defensively. And yeah, on the whole, it's a build-up version of Calafiori. It's taller than some of his previous cards, and it's a good version of him. And just like with Buongiorno, two very good solid centre-back cards, I think. And next we have Giovanni Di Lorenzo from Napoli, Scudetto winning Di Lorenzo. So we've got a face scan, of course. He's an attacking fullback. He can play right back, centre back. He can play right midfield. You can move him over to left back if you want to put some position trainers on him. He's got unwavering form. And then skill-wise, no changes here with skills or playing styles or anything. But we got heading, nice bonus on the fullback. Through passing and pinpoint crossing when he gets forward, nice. Defensively, blocker, sliding tackle. So a bit lacking here because he's not got interception. I'd quite like man marking as well. So yeah, I think if you're going to get this guy and you're going to give him, going to use him regularly. And if you're going to put some skills on him, interception and man marking from me would pretty much complete him. I think those are the only ones he really needs, but they are important ones. So I would look to put interception and man marking on this guy. I think those are important skills, but let's train him up. Let's go over to eFootball Hub. How good is this Di Lorenzo card? It's pretty solid. Speed good, acceleration a little bit on the low side. Bit decent physical strength for fullback. Bounce is a bit iffy. Stamina's outstanding. Defensively, pretty solid. Not amazing on the ball, but could be worse. That tight possession though, 71. Yikes. That's a bit iffy. You have to be careful with this guy when you start twisting and turning with close control. This tight possession is poor. Passing is decent, especially at low pass at 85. He's got through passing as well, so he's going to have a nice passing for a fullback actually. So yeah, it's looking pretty solid. We've had quite a few versions of Di Lorenzo. I've had 4 Player of the Week cards. 3 of them are right backs. None of those 3 are as good as this one. There's one that's a centre back. If you train this one as a centre back, which we'll do it in a minute, but it's quite similar to be honest. That centre back Player of the Week card. This card's obviously better than that one as a right back because that card is obviously a centre back. So yes, stacking up pretty well against Player of the Week cards. As with a lot of cards these days, we've had a Showtime version of Di Lorenzo that is better than this card, as you'd expect. And compared to all those other highlight cards, this isn't quite the best highlight card we've had of Di Lorenzo, to be fair. There's at least one slightly better, but it's around about the same kind of level as his best card. So it's a solid looking version of him from his GP card. Unsurprisingly, as we just saw there, low pass has had a boost. That's the biggest boost he's had. He's gone +5 on low pass at level 1. +1 on finishing, everything else +2. So yeah, slightly better at low pass than normal. Apart from that, solid boost. It's a solid looking version of Di Lorenzo. Needs 1-2 defensive skills, but yeah, not bad. In terms of shuffling points around, I think the acceleration and balance, obviously both those 2 come under dexterity. Could we get any more on dexterity? I think we probably could. We could certainly nick a couple off lower body. We can afford to do that. That will get us at least 2 more on dexterity. We need 3 points per increase on the next few. Can we really spare the points to do that? I don't think so. I don't think it's worth it. I think those last 2 points, I would just probably stick them maybe on the ball. Make them a little bit better on the ball there. I think I'd just do that. So yeah, not a massive change there, but I think worth getting him a bit more dexterity. And yeah, he's a solid right back. He's not an amazing one. I don't think it's one too many people are going to get overly excited about. But certainly he's a solid one, can do a job for you. I've got a very old Di Lorenzo card, one of the first highlight cards of his from a Napoli pack. Always served me quite well in the Italian League Challenge. He's not quite so good anymore, but still solid. And this is a good one. It's a solid card for a right back. Does have other positions though. Could he be a sneaky centre back? I actually turned mine into a centre back for a while, and he did a job for me. Maybe. So defensives around about where he needs to be. They're all 90+, so that's good. Do we have enough points to beef up his physical contact though? And he's not the tallest either, so we could do with some points on aerial. We don't really have them though, so that I'm not sure I'd use this guy as a centre back. I think the only way I'd use him as a centre back, I would actually take a few away from defending, because again we're past 12 on defending. Take 3 off there. I know you lose a bunch off defending, but you get 12 points. Beef up his aerial. I'd be inclined to do that if I was going to use him as a centre-back. Keep in mind, he is already fully proficient at centre-back, so you don't need to position train him. You would need the defensive skills. I would already suggest interception and man marking, even as a full-back. As a centre-back, aerial superiority would be super important. Acrobatic clearance would help as well. So he would need some skills as a centre-back, and he's not ideal, like I say, to get his aerial and physical up towards where you need him to be. And even there, his vertical reach isn't brilliant. You'd have to sacrifice a bit with defending, so I'm not sure many people are going to see this guy as a centre-back, albeit he could do a job for you if you really wanted to do that. And then in terms of other positions, you've just got right midfield, and I'm not sure he's going to be much of a right midfielder, but let's just see. We'll see what allocation I'm going to say. Well, his passing is going to be nice as a right midfielder. Crikey, yeah. So yeah, maybe. Hang on, let's just see. Can we make him a bit better on the ball? Not really. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he'd be alright. He's got through passing and pinpoint crossing. His crossing will be decent enough, and not much. Although he's not got much curl, he's not even got much kicking power either. On the ball, again, the tight possession sucks. You can get the ball control and dribbling to a reasonable level. But yeah, let's be honest. Are you going to use Di Lorenzo as a right winger? Probably not. I don't think anyone's going to do that. So I'd just leave him on auto allocation. And yeah, like I say, I don't think this is a particularly exciting card. I don't think many people are going to be looking at this card and considering it one of the more appealing cards in this pack, but it's certainly a solid one. You can use him in the Italian League Challenge, and he could well be a very useful option for that. So it's not a bad card at all. Not an exciting one. Somewhere in between. It's definitely a good, solid one that could be worth having if you get him. And our other fullback is Destiny Udogie from Tottenham. He has a face scan. He is an attacking fullback this time. So again, we've had a playing style change. He's normally a fullback finisher. They've changed it to an attacking fullback. That might suit you, it might not. Certainly for me, that's an upgrade. I don't like fullback finishers, but it depends on your preferences. But yeah, he's an attacking fullback, standard form. You can use him in the English League Challenge because he plays for Spurs. Skill-wise, again, they've added some skills. So we have gained pinpoint crossing, man marking and interception. Really, really good additions there. In terms of any other skills you've given, I think the only skills I'd probably look to give him would be blocker and maybe his fighting spirit, possibly one touch through passing. But those are some good additions they've given him. You can certainly get by with the skills he's got there. Pinpoint crossing, man marking, interception, three of the most important skills on a fullback, especially an attacking fullback with pinpoint crossing. So yeah, good news with the skills, and it might be good news for the playing style. Depends on your preferences, but let's train him up, of course. Let's go over to eFootball Hub. And let's see how good he is. He's pretty solid looking. So as with fullbacks, you know what they're always going to do. They're going to go absolutely ham on the lower body. Again, up to 13. That's not efficient. So we've got crazy speed, stamina, acceleration is good. I mean, down the right column there, everything's looking good, to be honest. Down the middle, defensive awareness is not amazing, but on the whole, he's solid enough defensively. And then down the left, for an attacking fullback, the dribbling is nice. Ball control and tight possession are okay. And then the low and off the pass could be better. They're not too bad though. So on the whole, yeah, looking like a good solid left back. We've had an attacking fullback version of him previously. It was in Player of the Week, and that was pretty similar to this one on the whole. Obviously, stats shuffled around a little bit. In terms of trainable highlights, we have had an attacking fullback highlight, to be honest. Quite similar to this one, but without the added skills. And we've had some highlights of him with the fullback finisher playing style. There was one from a legend box with that green football background, and another one that's very similar to this one but without the skills. So yeah, he's around a fairly similar level, to be honest, to his previous highlight cards, forward finishers and attacking fullbacks. Off that boost from his GP card, most attributes up by 3, dribbling's up by 6, stamina's up by 5, speed is up by 0, but I don't think we need a boost on speed, do we? Another one of these cards, if you look at his GP card with auto allocation, they put more on lower body and it gives him more speed, but that's just the way the points are allocated. He's not actually better in that department. So they're doing that. That seems to be the case with a lot of highlight cards these days. But yeah, we've got some new skills. He's had a pretty even boost. And it's a solid looking version of Udogie. Compares pretty well to previous versions. But like I say though, up to 13 on lower body is not overly efficient. I don't think he needs to go anywhere near that high, to be honest. He could go right the way down to... You can go down to 8, to be honest, and you're still got plenty on his speed and stamina, and we're giving ourselves 16 points to play with. You don't need that much on his dexterity even. It depends on what you want to boost. I will look at him first as an attacking left back, so I'd like to get a bit more on his low and off the pass there. Let's get all of his on the ball attributes to 80 plus. We've still got 8 points left. To be honest, let's just beef his aerial up. We'll get his physical contact up to 78. I'd be inclined to do that, to be honest. And that to me is looking like a very solid attacking left back, and the only thing that concerns me there that's left that isn't quite where I want to be is the defensive awareness of 75, which is not brilliant. But apart from that, everything's looking really solid. It's solid looking attacking left back. If you want to do a more defensive build as a defensive left back, you could take all those points off the technicals, because I know most people who like defensive fullbacks don't worry too much about these technicals down the left hand side, the on the ball ability. If we did that, I'd get the physical up to 80. Stick a bit more on his defending. Can't quite get a defensive awareness to 80, or can we? I bet we can, you know. Or can we? Oh, we're up to 12 in defending now. We need 4 points to go up to 80. I mean, you could. If you really wanted to, you could do that. And then tackling gets that double boost from 86 to 88. You get into +3 territory and tackling. You're losing a bit off the stamina as well as speed, of course, but if you really want to beef up the defensives, use him as a defensive fullback. You get the physical contact at 80 as well. You could do that. You'd need to put the defensive instruction on him, but as a defensive fullback, he could be very solid. He could be very usable that way. I personally prefer him as an attacking fullback. That's the way I like my fullbacks to be. But yeah, that's an option for you if you wanted to use him more defensively. Can you make him a sneaky centre back? You'd need to increase his proficiency twice with about 1 million position trainers. No. Physical contact 79 is nowhere near good enough for a centre back. Defensive awareness 83. You can forget about using him as a centre back. So then the only other position we got there is left wing. Can we make him a left winger? Maybe. Dribbling is looking nice at 90. Again, don't need all that on lower body. Let's just get his crossing up to. We'll go 12 on passing. To be fair, that could be a decent left winger. Again, he's a left footer. He's got pinpoint crossing, so you know what this is going to be. What you're going to be using this guy for. If you play him left wing, you're going to be spamming crosses. Got the pace. Lofted pass at 88. Curl only 70. Kicking for 81. So on the whole, his crossing will be pretty nice. It won't be amazing. It'd be nice to have a bit more curl, but it's not a deal breaker. You don't always need that much curl in your crosses. Depends on what kind of cross you're putting in, the angles and so on. But yeah, on the whole, it'll have a pretty nice cross. Low pass at 86 is decent. On the ball, not amazing ball control or type possession, but dribbling's at 90. Good, well, decent enough balance, bit of physical strength. Yeah, he could be an option for your left wing. He's fully proficient there already. So if you don't fancy him as a left back, you want an option as a left winger to spam some crosses in. I wouldn't say he's amazing, but certainly could be usable, could be an option. But I think for most people, it's going to be a left back. And whether you go with the auto allocation, whether they go ham on his lower body attributes, give him crazy pace, or whether you balance him out a little bit the way I did, I think it's a good solid card. It's a solid left back option, and like I said at the start, because he plays for Spurs, you can use him in the English League Challenge. So yeah, plenty to be said for this card. I don't think it's an amazing card, but it's certainly a very good solid one. For a lot of people, it'll be nice for the change of playing style. Not for everyone, though, of course. Nice to have a few very important skills added as well. So lots of positives about this card. It's another good solid card. It's a solid left back. Into the midfield now, and we have another card with a playing style change. So Sandro Tonali is always an anchor man apart from player of the week, and much like his player of the week cards, he's now box to box with this card. So we've got a face scan, of course. He's a DMF, which is what he normally is, and he's a box to box, which he's only ever been on his player of the week cards. Only standard form, that's a bit harsh. He's got to be unwavering, surely. I watch all his matches. He's always brilliant. Skill wise, no changes there. One skill he is always lacking is through passing. He needs through passing. Depending on how you're going to use him, he could do with 1 or 2 defensive skills. I would go through passing, man marking, blocker. I can't believe he's not got fighting spirit. He should have fighting spirit already, but he could do with that as well. And then maybe the outside curler, possibly. I think that'd be where I'll be going with the skills. But certainly through passing and maybe 1 or 2 defensive ones would be the most important ones. But let's train up. Let's see how good this box-to-box Tonali is. So over to eFootball Hub. Let's get more trained up. Pretty decent looking. So we've had a few player of the week cards of his. As I mentioned, at box-to-box. They're all pretty similar overall. Depending on how you use them, whether you use them as a DMF or CMF, and depending which attributes are important to you, you could argue 1 or 2 are slightly better than this one, but all around a pretty similar level. And the stats are, like I say, shuffled around, obviously, in all the player of the week cards. That's always the way. And he's up there with the better highlight cards, to be honest. The best highlight card previously has been from a recent Premier League pack. And he's up there, to be honest, around the same level. But keep in mind, all his previous highlight cards are Anchorman. This is the first trainable version of Tonali we've had that's a box-to-box, which is very interesting. And he's had a pretty even boost from his GP card. Most attributes up by between 3 and 5. They've increased stamina and aggression by only 1. But he's very aggressive. He's got great stamina, so that's fine. So yeah, pretty well balanced boost, and he's looking pretty decent. This is a nice looking card. This, like I said, depends how you're going to use him. As a DMF though, he's got a bit of everything. He's not amazing on the ball, and the attacking awareness sucks a bit, but passing is good. Defensive attributes are strong. On the right here, maybe you could do with a bit more physical contact if you're playing with a DMF, but apart from that, everything's looking okay down the right hand side. There's different ways you can use him, really. So let's do that. Let's look at the different ways you can use him. So first off, let's go with the defensive build. In fact, you could position train him as a centre back. Let's get centre back out of the way, because I don't think he's going to be a sneaky centre back. No, he's not. I mean, defensively he's fantastic, but the physical contact only 82, only about 5'10", 5'11". Yeah, I mean, a 16 on defending, you can nick 1 off there. Are we going to make Sandro Tonali a centre back? Hang on. I mean, I guess you could. You need to give him a bunch of defensive skills, and he's not going to be the best in the air. Jumping 74, less than 6 foot tall, yeah. I don't know about that. But certainly he's not a million miles away in terms of the attributes. But yeah, let's go straight back to defensive mid. Let's give him a defensive build. So defending is up to 13 already. I would probably keep that on 12. I know you lose a bit off defending there, but I'm going to try and be efficient here. We need more physical contact. We don't need that much stamina. So we can get the physical up to 80 already. That's good. Don't need that much in passing. Certainly on the DMF. To be honest, you could actually, even though it's not the most efficient, maybe we could do that. We just need 2 more points to get his defensive awareness to 90. Where are we going to get him? There's got to be somewhere. Let's nick him off dexterity. There you go. Bang. 90 plus all your defenses there. Uber aggressive. Yeah, as a real defensive midfielder, keep in mind that box-to-box playing style. Unlike his usual playing style of Anchorman, a box-to-box DMF will still get up and down the pitch a lot. So if you want to hold him back and have him really protect your defence, you might want to put the defensive instruction on him. But you can get his defences all to 90 plus. It's not the most efficient way to train him, but this is, like I say, a real defensive build to make him a DMF. We've got the physical contact up to 80, bounce over 80 as well, stamina's at 90. On the ball, he's not amazing. Passing is pretty good though. He's not even bad on the ball, to be fair for a DMF. So yeah, out and out DMF, something like that could be very solid. You would really need to give him a few defensive skills, as I mentioned, man marking, blocker, fighting spirit, and I was still going through passing even on a defensive midfield build. I think I'll give him those skills. But yeah, could be very, very useful there. And you can make those defensive attributes very strong to make him more of an all-rounder, either as a centre midfielder or as a DMF in some kind of double pivot. We can take a whole bunch of points back off defending. We'll make him a lot better going forward now. Got to get the dexterity up, the attacking awareness, and a bit more acceleration. So we'll go straight up to 8 on dexterity. Give him some points on the ball. Make him more comfortable in possession. Got 6 points left. Where are they going to go? I think dribbling's one, and I think defending's the other one. Get the engagement to 90. Yeah, that's looking pretty nice to me. I still like his attacking awareness to be a bit higher, but he's pretty comfortable on the ball. Still got nice passing, 90 low and lofted. Still got fairly strong defensive attributes. We've still got the physical at 80. The bounce is approaching 90. Stamina at 90, still speed and acceleration 80. There's an all-rounder in the middle of the park, box-to-box playing style, whether it's in a double pivot or as a centre mid. Yeah, like a very solid looking card. This could be very handy. Like I said, with the skills in pretty much any position for this guy, you're going to want to give him through passing. I would personally give him man marking and blocker and fighting spirit. I think those 4 skills are really important on this guy to really complete him, and it's a really good version of Tonali. So yeah, if you like Tonali as an anchor man, it might not be the version for you based on the playing style, but if you like him as a box-to-box, certainly if you don't have one of his Player of the Week cards, then yeah, it's a very solid looking card, this. It's a nice boost, it's a nice change to his playing style for a lot of people, and yeah, as a DMF or a CMF, could be very, very handy. Just needs a bunch of skills, so I think for a lot of people, you can use him in the English League Challenge. And it's a very good card. 1-2 ways you can use him in midfield. You could actually train him for wide midfield. I almost forgot that. I just noticed that. Are we going to turn Sandro Tonali into a cross spammer? Probably not, but we'll do it for the hell of it. Why not? Let's take all the points off defending and aerial. Give him a bit more speed. Passing. Didn't really need to do the passing, to be fair. Let's give him a bit more on the ball, actually. What are we doing? What are we doing? There you go. So, position training for right midfield. Give him pinpoint crossing. Oh, he's got pinpoint crossing. I didn't even notice that. Hello. There we go. So, all you got to do is use about 350 position trainers to make him fully proficient right midfield. And then he's got fairly average pace, but he's going to have a really nice cross on him. Lofted 90. A little bit of curl on him in 90 kicking power. He'll have a great cross. He's comfortable on the ball. Yeah. Sandro Tonali right midfield build. There you go. Is anyone going to do that? No. You'd have the box-to-box playing style active. I quite like box-to-box on a wide midfielder, to be honest. But yeah, that will be active right midfield. He's got pinpoint crossing. And yeah, it could be a decent option. Not the quickest, but certainly good on the ball. Can have a fantastic cross. If you really want to make Tonali a right winger, there you go. You can do that. But I don't think many people are going to do that. I'm just showing you can do that if you want to. But I'll leave more on auto allocation. So yeah, for the English League Challenge especially, could be a great option. But just in general, DMF, CMF, if you give him a few skills especially, really good solid midfield card this. Next up, we have Federico Dimarco. He's got a face scan. He is a cross specialist left midfielder. He can play left back, of course. He used to be a left back in the game with the fullback finisher playing style. So he's got a different playing style to a lot of previous versions. He's got unwavering form. Skill-wise, mostly attacking skills. Got long range shooting, first line shot, one touch cross, weighted pass, pinpoint crossing. That's the one thing this guy is always really good at. Outside curl as well, and then defensively, you've got interception and acrobatic clearance. So you can still play him as a left back, certainly. You won't have an active playing style there. He's got one of the most important skills for it. He might need one or two more defensive skills, but yeah, you can use him left back or left wing. Apparently centre back. I don't know if I've ever seen him play centre back. 175 centimeters, not got many defensive skills. Yeah, we'll find out in a second if he can play centre back. I'm guessing not, but let's jump over to eFootball Hub, and that is Tonali. Go away, Tonali. We're looking at Dimarco. We're done with you. All right, there's Dimarco, right. So with Dimarco, all trained up. Yeah, looking decent. So we've had a few versions. We had loads of versions of Dimarco, to be honest, at this point. We've had 4 player of the week versions of Dimarco. Bit of a mixed bag. One of them not quite so good. A couple of them fairly similar to this one. And one had a booster. And when the booster's active on A form, it's a bit better than this one. So a bit of a mixed bag. There is one that's better with the boost. There's a Showtime card, of course, which is slightly better as well. But this is the first time I've had a trainable version of him that's a cross specialist. All the trainable versions of him previously have been left backs. And to be honest, if you look at the previous highlight cards, aside from that playing style, they're mostly a bit better as a left back. It's more comparable to previous versions of him as a left midfielder. The best previous one is one that I've got from, so it was a pack a couple of years ago, I think now, when Inter and Bayern did a tour of Japan. And they did a pack based on that. So that one's slightly better, but the stats are shuffled around a little bit. And yeah, this one's, I mean, even if that one's slightly better than this one, it's still pretty comparable to previous versions as a left midfielder, around a similar level. And from his GP card, the boost they've given is pretty mixed. He's a bit better on the ball. Low pass, tackling has been boosted a bit. Another card where you look at his GP card and auto allocation, they allocate more points to speed, so he's not slower than his GP card, it's just the way the points are allocated. And yeah, on the whole, it's looking pretty solid. It's a tidy looking version of Dimarco. It's going to depend on where you want to use him. We'll start by looking at him as a left winger. And if you're going to look at him as a left winger, I don't think I'd change much. I wouldn't really shuffle many points around. His pace is pretty decent. Kicking power is fantastic. Like I say, the crossing on this guy is the one great thing about him. He is a cross specialist as well. So left wing, left footed. With the crossing, he's got 91 lofted, 90 curl, 94 kicking power. He's got pinpoint crossing. He's going to be whipping in some really good crosses for you. That version I've used mainly, well, I've used him a fair bit as a left winger, but I'll probably use him more as a left back just because I don't have many left back options in the Italian League Challenge. But I can tell you from the left wing with his left foot, he has got a really nice cross on him. His balance isn't quite so great on this card. I think he's had better balance once or twice before. He's got a bit of physical strength on him though, even as a left midfielder. That's with 0 points but an area as well. So he starts out at 75 pretty boosted. That's good. He's not amazing on the ball with these kind of technical, dribbling attributes, but certainly not uncomfortable either. He's okay on the ball. The low pass at 85. He's got one touch right. He just needs through passing really. And apart from that, he's got just about all the passing skills he needs. Certainly got the crossing. Attacking awareness at 80 is decent as well. So yeah. I kind of hate to keep using the term cross spam, but that's really what we're looking at here with this guy. If you like to spam crosses, you like having a left foot on the left, the right foot on the right, and you're whipping a lot of crosses into your big man. This guy's going to suit you perfectly, and he looks very tidy, very handy. Like I say, from personal experience, he's got a really good cross on him, and it's a really good solid version of him as a left winger. And with that cross specialist playing style, he's constantly going to be hanging around that wide, getting into positions to cross the ball. So yeah. For what he's good at, I think it's a really good card. And if he suits you, suits the way you play, could be a very handy one to have. And then as a left back, let's just see what the auto allocation says as a left back. So, yeah, like I say, the previous highlight versions of Dimarco are left backs, and they are a bit better than this. They tend to be a bit better. That's not to say it's got to be bad as a left back, but you look at the defensives there. The awareness at 74 is not great. Engagement 77. Not terrible, but could be better. I always look for around 80 or more on a fullback, so a bit lacking on those two attributes. We're okay down the left there. Only 4 points allocated down the left. I don't think I'll change much. That attacking awareness at 79 is good for a fullback, although I do always find that with high attacking awareness, when it's in the 70s on a fullback, they do tend to drift forward a little bit more than I'd like them to. And down the right, the pace is fine, kicking power is amazing. Stamina's fine. Yeah, everything's fine down the right hand side. So you could definitely still use him as a left back. He's got a couple of defensive skills there. I would personally give him a couple more: man marking, blocker, fighting spirit. But yeah, as a very attacking left back, could certainly do a job, could be very decent. But in terms of different versions, if you're looking at the different versions of him, this isn't the best version of Dimarco to be a left back. I think this guy's definitely better as a left midfielder. As I mentioned, though, we can train him as a centre back. But is he any good as a centre back? Not really. Awareness 81, jumping 75, and he's only 175 centimetres. Yeah, no one's going to use this guy as a centre back. You can forget about that. He's not going to be very good there. But with his registered position being left midfield, we do have more positions we can train him for. We can actually make him a defensive mid, centre mid, or attacking mid. I don't think we've ever looked at any Dimarco card as a centre mid of any kind, but let's have a look though. He's got one touch pass, remember, you need to go in through passing, but he's got most of the skills he needs really to play in most of these positions. As a DMF, I don't think he's strong enough defensively. I don't think his passing is quite good enough. I'm not sure that this guy's really going to be too great as a DMF. Yeah, I'm not going to look at him any longer as a DMF. I think he's just a little bit lacking in a bunch of areas there, and he'd need a bunch of skills. I don't think it's worth it really as a DMF. As a CMF, if you just went down to 8 on defending, let's just see. Get that passing up a little bit. I mean, he's kind of alright as a centre mid. I don't know though. Not amazing. He could do a job for you. Again, if you gave him 1 or 2 skills, especially through passing, any of these midfield positions centrally, you'd need to go in through passing for a start. With just through passing alone, I think you'd be okay. But again, even as a centre mid, not brilliant on the ball. Could do with a bit more balance, certainly could do a bit more stamina. I don't know if it's really worth it. All the position trainers, 1 or 2 skill trainers as well. Don't think it's worth making him a centre mid. Attacking mid, if you take everything away from the defending and the aerial, can you make him that much better going forward? Yeah, kind of ish, maybe. I don't know. You could do. Get that dribbling from 86 to 88. I mean, I don't think many people are going to be looking at this card and thinking, oh great, Dimarco, I can make him an attacking midfielder. But if you go in through passing, tidy enough on the ball, get that low pass to 88 with through passing. Attacking when it's decent, yeah, it could be an option, but again, you know, do you want a Federico Dimarco card so you can train him to play as an attack midfielder without an active playing style? I don't think you do. I don't think many people would do, but just so you can see how good you can make him there, you can be decent. Not amazing, but decent. But I think the one position where the vast majority of people would use this guy is left midfield. So like I said at the start, cross specialist playing style, wide on the left. He's going to have a devilish cross on him, and that's the way you're going to get the most value out of him. Yes, you can make him an attacking left back. If you really wanted, you could try 1 or 2 other positions, but decent left back, but very good left wing cross specialist, whipping in some very nice crosses. Can use him in the Italian League Challenge. And yeah, it's a different playing style to previous versions of Dimarco, so it's slightly different to previous ones if you've got a previous one. And yeah, if he suits the way you play, especially as a left midfielder, could be a pretty tight one to have. And next up we have Lorenzo Pellegrini from Roma, who has a face scan. He's a whole player, attacking mid, no major changes here. Unwavering form, and then skill-wise, got most of the skills he needs. Got 1 touch pass and through passing. Heel trick's a nice one to have. Long range shooting. He's got captaincy, fighting spirit. Pretty good selection of skills for an attacking mid. Let's jump over to eFootball Hub and train him up. We'll see how good Pellegrini is. Where are we? Ooh, clicking on the wrong thing. So it's pretty solid, but it's not the best version of Pellegrini that we've had. So we had a player of the season card, one of those trending ones that you can't train, that was better than this one. We've had a couple of player of the week versions of Pellegrini, both fairly similar to this one, but if anything, I'd say they're both probably ever so slightly better. Certainly one of them. I've had a legend version of him, that was better. And we've had a bunch of highlight cards of his, which a lot of them seem to be a bit better than this one, to be honest. So yeah, does that mean this is a bad card? No, but as a version of Pellegrini, it doesn't stack up particularly well. It's not the most exciting boost. They boosted his attacking awareness by 5 at level 1, and everything else is up by 2. So it's a good attribute to boost on an attacking mid-hole player, but yeah, it's not a great version of Pellegrini, really. You know, he's tidy on the ball, passing is all right, but I'd like the passes to be better, to be honest. But where are you going to spare the points to make his passing better? Do you want to make him worse on the ball? That's the one place you've got a bunch of points. There's 1 point in defending, you can take that back, but I don't think that's going to get us very far anywhere. I'll be tempted to maybe take some off shooting. That will help us to get +1 on passing. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Those last 2, I think I'll put the last 2 on the lower body just to get his speed up to 80. Yeah, it's not the most amazing version of Pellegrini. It's not it is a decent enough card, but it's not an amazing card. Bit of a disappointment. It might be the dud in the pack, to be honest. So yeah, I don't think there's a lot you can do with the point allocation to retrain and make him better as an attacking mid. He's not bad, like I say. It's a decent card, but it's just not a brilliant one. You do have some pretty good skills. You don't need a lot skill wise. You could definitely do a job. I will say one thing. I will say is I've got a previous version of Pellegrini. It's a very old one now, and it's kind of solid. And he has felt alright for me when I've used him in the past in the Italian League Challenge. I've got so many good options now in the Italian League Challenge, like Legends and so on, that I barely need to use Pellegrini anymore. I've not used him much in a long time, but when I have used him in the past, he's felt pretty nice. He looks, about 6'1", not the best balance and not amazing on the ball. I mean, he's pretty solid on the ball, but he doesn't look like he's going to feel that neat on the ball. Not the quickest as well, but he does feel pretty smooth in my experience. He does feel alright on the ball, and he has done well for me when I've used him. So yeah, on that basis of my personal experience, I would suggest he's probably a slightly better card than he looks, but he doesn't compare that well to previous versions, so it's a slightly disappointing one. In terms of other positions, I wouldn't train him much differently to push him forward as an SS. Centre midfielder, you need a bit more defensively and physically, so you could just nick a bit off his on-the-ball attributes there, and then could nick a few of dexterity. A shame to lose some balance, but going to want to make him a bit better defensively and physically if you're playing him right in the middle of the park. You get that physical contact at 80 quite easily. A few more on defending. Last one on shooting, I guess. Yeah. Centre mid, whole player. He's going to be making a lot of attacking runs, so it'll be a very attack-minded centre midfielder. He can do a bit of defending. No defensive skills though. Keep in mind, you might want to give him a couple of defensive skills if you do use him as a centre mid, but yeah, again, much like attacking midfield, is he any good as a centre midfielder? Yeah, he's pretty solid, but is he amazing? No, I don't think many people are going to be too excited about him as a centre mid or an attacking mid. I don't think you'll be able to make much of a defensive mid, but we'll see what the auto allocation tells us. Yeah, it tells us exactly that. So not great on the ball, not great passing. All right defensively for a defensive mid, but not outstanding. Kind of okay-ish physically, but again, you'd still want a few more points there. I don't think he's great as a defensive mid. And now just leave wide left or wide right. You're going to make him a cross spammer. He's got pinpoint crossing already. I didn't realize he had pinpoint crossing. So if you've got pinpoint crossing, let's just go to auto allocation, see what that tells us. So right midfield. Yeah, again, could do a job for you, Not the quickest, but not the slowest. All right on the ball. 84 lofted, 81 curl, 86 kicking power. His crossing will be decent, but not amazing. He will have the whole player playing style active if you play him as a right midfielder. I do like that playing style on wide midfielders, so we're making good runs into space, not just up and down the touchline, but drifting into the centre as well at times. Attacking runs at 86, that does go well with his whole player playing style. So yeah, there are positives to be said for him. And if you're playing right midfield, yeah, like I say, is he going to be amazing? No, but could he do a job if you really needed someone there? Yes. Is it worth all the position trainers to get him fully proficient at right midfield? Probably not. You would need less position trainers to make him fully proficient at left midfield. You could also make him a left winger. We'll do a build now to play him wide left, and that'll cover both those positions, but I prefer him as a left midfielder because the whole player playing style will be out there left midfield and not as a left wing forward. I do quite like inverted wingers as a whole player, left or right. So as a right footer on the left, he would be an inverted winger, drifting inside into his right foot, making some good runs with the playing style and that really nice attacking awareness. So yeah, what would I do as a left midfielder? There's 2 on defending. I'm taking those straight back. Has he got long range curler, by the way? No. So I would give him long range curler if you're going to play him on the left. I think long range curler is probably the only skill he needs if you make him a left midfielder. What would I do? Maybe take a bit off his passing. I don't know, to be honest. I'm not sure I'd even do that. He could just do with a little bit more on his shooting, couldn't he? Let's just do that. So he's still not amazing on the ball, and he's not got great pace, but if you made him a left midfielder with the whole player playing style, he could be decent. I think that's the story with his Pellegrini card, whether he even is more orthodox positions, either as a centre mid or especially as an attacking mid, or whether you decide you want to make him a wide right player, right midfield, or left midfield. He's just kind of decent. He's not amazing. I'll leave him back on attacking midfield auto allocation to finish up with. That is, I think, where he's going to be best. But yeah. Is it a good card? It's a solid one. Certainly for the Italian League Challenge, it could just be a nice solid option for that one to stick in your midfield, but it doesn't stack up that well compared to previous versions of him, and even though I've used him in the past and found him to be quite a good card, I think it's one of the less interesting cards in the pack. Even though it's not a bad one, I just don't think it's quite as good as it perhaps could have been. So yeah, all things considered, it's not a bad card, but it's just not a particularly interesting one really compared to the other cards in this pack. And now we have 3 centre forwards to look at, and the first is Lorenzo Lucca, target man, massive. He is about 13 feet tall. He's only got inconsistent form. That's a shame. He's being linked with a big move this summer. Looks like he might be joining another team in Italy. It'll be interesting to see what happens next season, how often he plays and how well he plays. But yeah, another option for the Italian League Challenge. And yeah, he's a massive target man. He's got a face scan. And skill-wise, another one where they've made changes here. So interesting. They've added a few skills. So with some of these players, they've added some skills, and they've been very useful skills. With Lorenzo Lucca, you've got a 13-foot striker who now has scissors feint. Excellent. He's got dipping shot. Some people like that. And acrobatic finishing. And so those 3 skills are new. Acrobatic finishing certainly is a nice one to have on a big, tall striker like Lucca. And that's a very helpful one to have. So it's good they've added acrobatic finishing. He's already got heading and aerial superiority. First time shot, one touch pass. In terms of adding skills, long range curl I think is an obvious one. Maybe his fighting spirit, maybe through passing, outside curl would be a nice one. I think those would be the skills I'll be looking at on this guy. Maybe long range shooting if you want to give him another skill if you've got another space left. But yeah, we've got a massive target man here. And let's just get straight over to eFootball and let's train him up. Let's see how good this Lucca card is. It's only the second time I've had a special version of him. I had one in a Serie A pack not too long ago. And this one's slightly better. It goes one higher in terms of overall rating. So yeah, even though I've only had one version, this is the best version I've had of Lucca. And again, I keep saying it, but a lot of people are putting a lot of crosses into the box lately. So this could be a very interesting card to a lot of people. I know 1 or 2 people in my community love this guy. He's massive. And yeah, he's had a pretty mixed boost from his GP card. They've put virtually nothing on his kind of on-the-ball attributes, but they have given him a nice enough boost on his attacking awareness, his finishing, his heading as well. He's got those new skills, so it's an interesting-looking version of Lucca. This, I think you can afford to nick a point of shooting there, and he's never going to have great balance, so I'll be inclined to nick a bit off dexterity there and just leave the attacking awareness at 90, because what you're going to do with this guy, with that target man playing style, the physique he's got, there's only one kind of build you're going to give him, and that's basically just focusing on what he's best at, which is being absolutely gigantic. So we're going to go up to 8 on aerial at least. Got 4 points left. This is an obvious one, isn't it? 4 on goalkeeper 1. What does that give us? 286.3 jumping height. Yeah, this guy's quite good in the air. Yeah, I think this guy's going to be winning a lot of headers. I would probably just do that with the build. You know, he's going to be pretty horrible on the ball. He can't pass the ball particularly well. He's not the quickest, but he's not the slowest for a target man either. It doesn't really matter too much because the target man's literally going to stand around and wait for you to lob the ball to his head. That's what a target man does. I don't like the playing style for that reason. If I am going to be putting a lot of crosses in, I prefer Fox in the box. But for a target man, awareness and finishing at 90, headings 91. The jumping and physical contact stats don't look amazing, but it's the physique that makes the difference. And like as you say, as I say with the jumping height, that's what matters. That's how high he can jump, and he can jump high. This guy's gonna be an absolute beast if you put crosses in. It's the only way to use this guy. So yeah, that's all I would do with the build. I think that's it. I mean, you could even take all those points off his on the ball attributes and just accept that he's gonna be horrible on the ball. And then you can go 1 higher in aerial, get physical contact to 90, 1 point left. In fact, I'll put it back on dribbling, get the tight possession back to 70, because that'll make a huge difference. But yeah, there you go. What's that now, actually? 287. There we go. 287 jumping height. That's how I'm building this guy. And yeah, like I say, that there are people who really love this guy because he's so great in the air. He's a beast in the air. He's massive. He's got a great vertical reach. If you don't mind that target man playing style, and if he suits the way you play, which is basically cross spam, then this guy could be really, really good for you. So yeah, like I say, not a massive difference between this one and the previous one. If you got the one from the Italian League pack, I think it was a few months ago now, I would say you don't really need this one. It's not worth the upgrade, but just for this guy, obviously it depends on the other players in this pack and the manager if everything else appeals to you. But this card alone, I don't think is a massive boost on the previous one, but it is slightly better. And if he suits the way you play, yeah, could be a very, very effective striker for you. And our second striker is Moise Kean. I'm going to say it like that this time. It seems like every commentator has a different pronunciation. Moise, Kean, Kane. I'm going with Moise Kean this time. Got a face scan, goal poacher, standard form. And skill-wise, they've added 1 skill, a long-range curler. That is a good addition. Very nice skill to have on any centre forward. We've already got heading, acrobatic finishing. We've got first-time shot, long-range shooting. So we've got some of the most important skills for centre forward there. Pretty good selection of skills. Let's jump over to eFootball and train Moise Kean up. So where is it? Hang on, there it is. And there is fully trained Moise Kean, and he's not that amazing, to be honest. There are quite a few versions of him. They all kind of get shuffled around a bit, the attributes, from one version to the next. I had a few Player of the Week versions. An old Juventus one wasn't so good. The more recent two Player of the Week versions of Moise Kean are pretty similar to this one, but this one has quite a bit more in his dexterity attributes than those Player of the Week cards, albeit a bit less finishing, which is a bit of a shame. In terms of highlight cards, again, an old Juventus version wasn't so great. There's a more recent Juventus one that's slightly better than this one. He's got a recent version from a National Players Pack, which again is slightly better than this one. So not the most exciting version of him, unfortunately. The one thing really that lets him down a bit is just his finishing at 84, fully boosted. It's not great. It's really not great. He's had a pretty mixed boost from his GP card. The highest boost on any attributes are tight possession, physical contact, both 6, and they put 7 on balance, which is nice, very nice. He's quite a physical guy. You don't always get nice balance on a striker that's physically strong. They put 0 on his attacking awareness, and they've only put 1 on his finishing. That's a bit of a shame. So I think they've kind of let this card down a bit by not putting a few more points on his finishing, because we're all the way up to 10 on shooting there, fully trained up, and with your maximum game plan boost and everything. Only 84 for finishing is not brilliant. It is nice to have a bit of a boost on his balance and his tight possession, which needed a boost, but yeah, finishing is important. So can we spare some points from elsewhere? I'm not sure. Maybe nick 1 from lower body. Can't really afford to nick any from dexterity. There's just not really many points anywhere. Even we could take 4 off aerial, get his finishing up to 86. Is it worth it? We try and get his finishing and awareness both the 88 mark. I don't know. I mean, no, we're up to 12 in shooting. It's going to be +4 to get his finishing any higher than 86. It's not great. It's really not great. So, yeah, it's a slightly disappointing one. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad card like with Pellegrini. It's not a bad card. He's certainly usable. It'd be a handy one for the Italian League Challenge. But for a guy who's had a pretty good season and he's been linked with a big move, only 86 finishing, fully boosted, and that's with me beefing up his finishing a little bit as well. It's not great, but he does have positives. Like I said, it's not a bad card. The pace is good. He's got a very decent balance, and he's got a bit of physical strength as well. You don't always get a decent amount of balance and physical contact on auto allocation. I'll just go back to his auto allocation. Obviously 80 plus on both is good, but he's not brilliant on the ball. His passing is bad. The awareness is all right, but even the awareness I'd like to be a bit higher. I'd like to hit the 90 mark, but it's there or thereabouts. But yeah, it's that finishing that lets him down a bit. So yeah, it's a bit of a disappointing one. Like with Pellegrini, I think this card and Pellegrini, the 2 cards in this pack, I think are the slightly disappointing ones. Still one more to come that we'll look at in a minute, of course. But yeah, it's not a brilliant one, but it just depends where you look at it. If you're going to compare it to previous versions, it's certainly a pretty disappointing one. And if you're looking at that finishing, and that is a very important attribute on any centre forward, that makes it a bit disappointing as well. But he's got qualities in certain areas, so it's not a bad card on the whole. Adding long range curler is a very nice addition. So yeah, could well be a handy one for a lot of people. I know some people do really like this guy in the game, so you may well find this is a very nice addition to your attacking ranks, especially for the Italian League Challenge. But there are negatives, especially with the finishing, and it's not the best version of him. So not a bad card, but slightly disappointing one. And finally, we have Raspadori. Raspadori has his usual playing style, but they have actually changed his position. It doesn't make a lot of difference. He's normally an SS. They changed him to a centre forward, but he's got both positions like he always does, so it doesn't actually make any difference at all. He's got a face scan, of course. He's very two-footed, that's always nice. Skill-wise, not an awful lot going on here, nothing been added, but first-time shot, one of the most important ones. Super sub is nice, we've got a super sub, but could do with a few more skills. I think long range curler, one of the first ones you might want to give him. And there's a deep line forward, you might want to give him one touch pass and 3 passing as well when he's dropping into that, dropping deep and getting involved in the build-up. But let's go train this guy up. Let's train this Raspadori card up in eFootball Hub. And yeah, it's decent. We've had a few versions of him, as with most players, of course. So we've had one Player of the Week version of him. That was a prolific winger, left winger. Outside of the playing style, this card is actually better in just about any position than that Player of the Week card. And if you look at his best highlight cards, he's around about the same level as his best highlight cards, really. Just kind of points are shuffled around a little bit here and there. There's 1 or 2 slightly better as a striker or an SS, but on the whole, roughly the same level as his previous highlight cards, really. So it's a solid version of Raspadori. It's a fairly mixed boost he's had from his GP card. Nothing really stands out massively, to be honest. And he's pretty handy looking. I think it's just a question of where you're going to play him. As a centre forward, similar to Moise Kean, you've got the awareness, but is the finishing high enough at 86? I don't know. I think I'd want to maybe nick a few points from dexterity. I mean, the good thing with that is that you can spare the points from dexterity. You see there, you've got 93 awareness, 94 acceleration, 95 balance. You can easily nick 3 off there. And you get to that 90 mark, which I like to get to. And then you can go straight to 90 on finishing. Bosh. I think that's worth doing. But then the only question mark at that point is, do you want his passing to be better as a deep line forward? Especially as an SS, or training him a bit definitely as an SS at the moment. But as a centre forward, you might want to improve his passing a bit. And you might also, as I mentioned a minute ago, you might want to give him one-touch passing through passing as well. There's no way you can... Right, you can nick some points off aerial. Yeah, I think that's probably just about worth doing that. I think that's all I would do on him, to be honest, as a centre forward. So yeah, decent pace, balance is good. Not the strongest physically. The passing has been improved a bit. As a deep line forward, yeah, he could be a decent one. Could well be decent. The deep line forward playing style does seem to be a bit more effective since the most recent update to the gameplay. But yeah, on the whole, I think he's pretty solid and could be a decent one. Ooh, could be a very handy one for that Italian League challenge. As an SS though, I think I'd probably be tempted to nick a couple of points back from finishing. Maybe even one more from dexterity. No, I'll leave that where it is actually. But I'll just get that passing up a bit. Can we get his low pass to 80? You have to sacrifice a little bit on dribbling. I think that's the only way. I mean, he could nick a bit of speed, I guess. He could do that and make him better on the ball. Yeah, that might be worth doing. Yeah, I think I'd probably be tempted to do something like that as an SS, playing a bit deeper, so the passing's a bit more important there. I think it's borderline, but the passing's good enough as an SS. And he does need one-touch passing through passing. But yeah, a bit more comfortable on the ball there. We lost a bit off his finishing and his speed, but it's not as important as an SS. So something like that, a build something like that, I think as an SS could be tidy. And then you can make him a wide man, or you can make him an attacking mid actually. Can you make him an attacking mid? Let's auto-allocate it. Yeah, his passing is not good enough to play attacking mid. That's not going to happen. You can make him very nice on the ball there. So that's going to lead me to the one more build. As a right footer, I'm not going to put him on the right hand side. He is very two-footed, but I'll just do one build for left wing. And because he's so two-footed, you can just take this as a build for the right hand side. But I'm not going to bother doing a build where we make him good at crossing, because you can't. But to make a wide forward where he's going to be cutting inside and his job's going to be mainly to score goals, we take some points back off passing there. Nick 1 off dribbling. Can we get a speed up to 90? Yep. Yeah, I think you're in business with this guy as a wide forward, to be honest. He will not have an active playing style out wide. So if you don't like players not having an active playing style, then that might put you off. But plenty of people don't mind that. If you don't mind that, as you can see here, pace on the ball, fantastic attacking awareness for a wide forward. Finishing at 81 is decent enough. The passing is not too bad. I would still give him one-touch passing through passing. I would definitely give him long-range curler. Got 1 point spare. I'll just stick that on aerial. But yeah, I think as a wide forward, he could be pretty effective there, especially coming off the left wing onto his right foot, albeit, like I say, he is very two-footed, but primarily coming off the left onto his right foot. If you gave him long-range curler, and like I say, I would give him passing skills as well. I think he could be very effective that way, albeit without an active playing style. So yeah, it's a pretty solid version of Raspadori. Like I say, it's around about the same level as previous highlight cards. So if you've got a good version already, you probably don't need it. But if you don't, and if you pick up this pack and you get this card, either right up top as a striker, just behind as an SS, or wide left without an active playing style. Different ways you could train him. He could do with a few skills with the passing, and I think with long-range curler as well. But even though it's not the most exciting card, I think there's a few ways you could use him, especially in the Italian League change, where he could be a handy one to have in your ranks. So there is your Italy pack, finally. It took me a while. Sorry for the delay on that. I do struggle a bit sometimes when I release a bunch of packs all in succession. If I don't have a lot of spare time, there's always one or two that take me ages. But we've got there in the end. And I think it's a solid pack. I mean, I say much the same with all these packs. I mean, it just depends on which players you've already got good versions of and which players you want. Do they suit the way you play? You know, if you like spamming a lot of crosses at the moment, Dimarco and Lucca could both be fantastic cards to have. But you might already have good versions of both of them, even, to be honest. But depending on how you play, you know, there's plenty of other cards that could be good for you. You know, even the ones that aren't overly exciting. It's not the best version of Pellegrini. Raspadori might not be that exciting, especially as a deep line forward. Moise Kean, not the best version of him, but even those cards aren't bad. They could be decent for people. Di Lorenzo's a solid right back. You've got two very nice looking centre back cards. Tonali's great. Obviously, I'm biased as a Newcastle fan, but that is a very good version of Tonali and a different playing style. A bunch of these guys have got different playing styles, including Udogie. So I think that's the only outfield player I didn't mention there, attacking forward this time. So yeah, some interesting versions of players in there. Some good cards, and Donnarumma, of course, is a good version of him. And if it's a good version of Donnarumma, you know it's going to be a good goalie. He's massive. He's great. It's a very good goalie card. and then you've got an 89 rated long ball counter manager. So if that's your playing style, that might appeal to you. So it just depends on what you've got already in terms of the players and whether they suit the way you play and everything. And of course, if you want an 89 rated long ball counter manager, that might really appeal to you. But yeah, I think there will be a fair few people out there who can see quite a few cards in there that'll be very appealing to them. So there might be a card that they'll be worth picking up for you, or might not, I don't know. But hopefully this video has helped you to make your decision. So thank you for watching. I'll be interested to know your thoughts on this pack if you think it's a good one. I'll be doing a stream today. I'm probably going to go live before I finish processing this video, to be honest. So by the time you watch this video, you may have already seen the live stream. But yeah, there'll be 1 or 2 live streams, hopefully another stream over the weekend at some point. And yeah, maybe on to other videos as well. So thank you for watching as always. Hopefully you found this useful. Hopefully I'll see you soon for a video or a stream. Take it easy. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and I will see you soon.